We've been walking for about 5 to 10 minutes from Yeonnam-dong. And as I've explained from the previous video, Yeonnam-dong means south of Yeonhee-dong. So now we're going to be headed to Yeonhee-dong. This is actually the beginning of Yeonhee-dong. So if we go just across that tunnel right there, that's Yeonnam-dong. And this way to the north is Yeonhee-dong. So we'll have a look around Yeonhee-dong. There are a lot of Chinese restaurants in Yeonhee-dong, like these. It's all Chinese restaurants coming here because the Chinese school in Seoul moved to Yeonhee-dong from Myeongdong, I think, in 1969, and a lot of Chinese moved to Yeonhee-dong. Naturally, a lot of Chinese restaurants settled in Yeonhee-dong, and there are a lot of great and famous Chinese restaurants in Yeonhee-dong, including Yeonbo. He's a really famous Chinese food chef. And it's about 6 o'clock at night, and I'm smelling fried food, you know, the greasy smell, greasy Chinese food smell here. I'm getting hungry. This is a local mart at Yeonhee-dong, and it has a different kind of feeling than other Korean marts. Like, for example, they have vegetables and they have a label in Korean and English. I think that has to do with a lot of non-Koreans living in this area because, as I've explained, this town is a place where a lot of, you know, ambassadors live and a lot of rich Korean peoples live. That's probably why it has a little foreign kind of vibe, not Korean local kind of vibe. It's kind of unique too. One of the reasons why Koreans come to Yeonhee-dong a lot is also because of these kind of small stores. They are very refined, they're a little high class. So like particular people that are very keen about things, you know, they would come here and they'll find something that would meet their taste. So, and it has very local kind of vibe and very exotic at the same time. That's why a lot of people come to Yeonhee, because it has a mix of very local, serene, and particular kind of vibe here. Another kind of vibe that Yeonhee-dong has is, you know, this is really a living kind of place, but they have different commercial places here. Yeonhee-dong Sajingwan is also a very famous place. There's a wine shop there, a bottle shop there. But Yeonhee-dong is traditionally, it was considered as Joseon's capital because it's topographically a very good place. It's supposed to be a very good place, you know, geographically, because there's a mountain on the back and river running on the south. And there was a palace built by the Joseon kings named Yeonhee-gung. That's why this area is called Yeonhee-dong, named after the palace, the little private palace that exists in the area. And this area is traditionally a very rich town. That's why you don't see a lot of apartments around here. People live in houses, so it has a very different feeling from other parts of Seoul where it's mostly apartment in Seoul. And it's really difficult to find houses with parking lots like this and doors like that and garden in front of the house. You can tell that there's quite a big garden from the distance, the house to the door. So these are like the typical houses that are in Yeonhee-dong. Rich town, typical rich town. This area is not very well connected with public transportation. There isn't a subway line that goes nearby. The nearest subway station is Hongdae Station. That's about 10 minutes to 15 minutes walk from here. And there aren't a lot of buses that go through the area as well. So transportation is a little uncomfortable. And like, for example, that bus station is a town bus that just go around the town. It doesn't go to other parts of Seoul. So it's a little uncomfortable to get here, but I think it's worth coming here because of the vibe that it has. There are about 4 to 5 different old apartments here in Yeonhee-dong. Around that was built around 1970s, and we saw a picture that showed shelter that goes underground, and that shows the age of the building. And we couldn't find it, so we're trying to look for it right now. We'll show you some of the old apartments, and we hope we can find the shelter that we can show you. 그 같은데. 근데 연 아파트는 입구가 여기 있는 게 전부인 거죠. 뒤쪽에 있는 다른 건 없는 거죠. We found the shelter. You see, even the guard of this apartment didn't know that this shelter existed, but you can see that it's really old, and it says the person in charge is named Park Chung-hee. I don't know how much is 16평, but this shelter can hold around 96 people. So we can see that this shelter was built preparing for some kind of attack from North Korea, of course. And this is basically history, this building itself. So like when you look at this apartment from the outside, you can't feel the history because it's painted all new, but this shelter itself shows this building is a history. This is Yeonhee-dong. So I think this is the shelter, but I'm not going to try to open it. I don't want to do anything illegal. But it seems like the light is on. So, like when you look outside from here, it feels like a shelter. So as you can see, Yeonnam-dong has a very unique vibe, you know, old, new, rich, Korean, non-Korean, foreign, like somewhat of an American vibe even. And we are actually going to go to a town that's located near Yeonnhee-dong, to Sinchon. And we're going to explain a little bit of history of Yeonhee, because there's a historical place in Sinchon that's related to Yeonnhee-dong. So stay tuned, stay on our channel, subscribe.